Good morning, everybody. Happy Easter to those who celebrate, or just happy Sunday. Welcome to episode 19 of my podcast, Noodle Doodle. I am your host, Lazaro Gomez, and we're going to do this like we always do. This is another episode of Noodle Doodle. It is my podcast that I do on a weekly basis, usually every Sunday. We finally nailed down a time, so 10 a.m. works for me, works for everybody, I do believe. There's some cool things happening. Um, Basically, I am now broadcasting on several locations, so you're probably watching this on YouTube or Facebook or D Live and also Twitch. So we're trying it all. It's brand new. It's brand new to me, so of course there is a learning curve for for me. I have to figure all this stuff out and work it all out. But so far so good. I did the Friday night live stream on Friday, and everything worked out really well. And so I'm excited. I'm happy. So now I'm doing Noodle Doodle the same way. And if you're new to Noodle Doodle, basically I have a book of 300 drawing prompts that was given to me, and every day or every Sunday I pick a prompt. It happens to be a ball and chain for today. I draw it, and we pick a topic that we're gonna shoot the breeze with, I guess, or shoot the breeze with for the next 30 or 35 minutes, and that will be Noodle Doodle. So I hope you enjoy that sort of stuff. Sit back, relax, get some coffee or whatever it may be. You may be kicking off Sunday early, but yeah, that's kind of what we do. And just kind of uh, picking topics and stuff like that. I like to offer advice to artists just like me, and just kind of share my life and my talent and my experience with things with other artists that may be starting out or maybe going through the same things that I went through in the past that can help them move forward and stuff like that. So that's really the whole idea behind Noodle Doodle. And for today's topic, it's cool down. I think it's important to know, not just for artists but people in general, to cool down. You know, cool down. And if that term doesn't ring any bells or anything like that, it's a term that comes from working out, right? So when you go to work out or you go to the gym or anything like that, you have a period of warm up. So you warm up, you do your exercises, get everything flowing, the blood is flowing, your muscles are relaxing and getting into shape, and starting to get in a position to where you can do all of these exercises safely and not get hurt. And then after your exercise, you have a cool down period, right? You have a cool down period. You drink water. You start bringing your body back down, your temperature back down, uh, your heart rate back down, and you do it safely, and you come back down. So that's a cool down period, right? And everything has a cool down period. And for work, it's the same thing. In the morning, you're warming up, you're getting your breakfast, you're getting your coffee or whatever it is that helps you in the morning to get things started. You go through the work day, and then you start decompressing, right? You come home, you take a shower, you get dinner done, you do all of the things that you want to do, that are extracurricular activities, and you go to bed and kick it all off again, right? So for an artist, it's the same thing. You start off with a doodle or a sketch or a warm up, and I think this is perfect, if you're an artist, to get one of these books, because that helps you out. You could open this prompt book on a daily basis and just kind of go through and do a little doodle. It doesn't have to be like elaborate or crazy or anything like that. It's just you're warming up. So this is last week's Noodle Doodle. I did a little Minecraft piece, and for me, this is kind of how I cool down. It's not so much a warm up for me, but it is a cool down. So I like to kind of get to the point where it's Sunday morning and I'm getting ready for a brand new week, and I'm just cooling down. I'm just kind of putting all my thoughts in place, and um, just thinking about what needs to be done the following week, what I accomplished in the previous week, what were downfalls, what were upsides, or achievements and pitfalls. And so for me, the noodle doodle is exactly that. I get to just, draw a little sketch and talk about stuff like that. So cool downs, yeah, they're important. I think for the most part, I don't know. I think for the most part, a lot of people. I need a different stencil. Sorry, guys. Gotta get another stencil. Luckily, I have everything hanging here in my office. So, yeah, I think it's important because a lot of people, you just see it on a day-to-day basis. They just simply do not know how to cool down. Uh, Everybody speeding on the highways. Everybody, get out of my way, get out of my way. It's like, I got to do this, I got to do that, and I don't have time for this, and I don't have time for that. And man, it's so detrimental, right? It's so bad to just live your life that way. There's no cool down period. You're thinking about your bills, and you're thinking about your work, and your hardships, and perhaps you're having problems, in your marriage, or whatever the case may be, or with your kids, whatever the case may be. People have stresses, right? People have people have hardships, and all that good stuff. But if there's no cool down period, if there's no time for you to reflect and kind of, um, just to kind of say, hey, I need to, I need to evaluate. Let me take a look at what's really happening, what's really going on. If you don't allow yourself that moment, then things could be a lot worse. So for me, and again, it's like, I'm not trying to preach to everybody or anything like that. I'm just simply stating from my own experience, right? So I've had moments where I would not cool down. Somebody would say something and it kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and I'm like, man, screw that guy or whatever, and I would be upset. And of course, I'm older now, and I know that it's not worth it. It's not worth doing that sort of stuff, and it says a lot about me if I get upset and cause unnecessary problems and drama, and so on and so forth, right? So that's the idea. It's more a learning curve, right? Or learning how to cool down. And I think like I said, for the most part, a lot of people, they just simply don't have that, right? They just, either they don't have it, or they don't want to accept it, or don't appreciate it, or anything like that. But man, I can tell you that it's a great thing to be able um, to do that, to be able to say, all right, I messed up here, or I messed up there. How do we make it better? How do we get better? And just kind of go from there. Oh, by the way, if you hear if you hear a weird noise in the background, there's certainly nothing wrong with your speakers. You have not entered the Twilight Zone or anything like that. It's my 3D printer Saturday, so I got some eBay orders in, and I'm running out of stuff, so I had to go ahead and just 3D print some more pieces. This is a mock-up, or a sample, I should say, but I do sell these on eBay, and I sold out of all my stock, so I'm replenishing that stock. So if you hear any weird noises or anything like that, that's what it is. So yeah, I think life can cause a lot of stress. Everybody's worried about stuff. Um, mainly it's bills, and all that sort of stuff. For an artist, stress can come from a lot of different places. One of them could be a deadline. If you work in the type of environment that requires you to have a certain deadline, or meet a certain deadline, that can certainly cause a lot of stress. Or if you're, an independent artist, you got to get ready for shows, or you have tons of orders and commissions and this and that, whatever. And for me, that tends to be the case. I get a lot of commissions, which, man, I am so grateful for and so thankful that I get so many commissions, and I'm extremely lucky. And you know, but I think a lot of it has to do with just the hard work and the hard work I put into it, and it pays off, I think. So for me, I for a long time, I should say, for a long time, I would just simply not cool down. I would forget, and a lot of things would go by, and I'm just not really thinking about anything and just going and going and going and going and going. And then it's like, okay, well, yeah, my health is suffering because of that. I don't feel good. Um, I don't feel good. I'm messing up things or forgetting certain things and all of that, right? All of that. It's terrible. It's a terrible feeling. So, you could easily, uh, you could easily get distracted, or like, you could squirrel yourself into a bad place because it's like, oh, I just, I got to finish this one piece of artwork and I got to do this and I got to do that. But then you start like missing out on things in life. And for me, I have kids, and my family is really, really important to me. And so that is that's the one exception. It's like I'm not gonna, I don't want to be that person that's missing my daughter's like birthday party or something like that, because I have some commission to do. It's like, nope, sorry, not gonna happen. And I think for the most part, everybody would understand that. Um, there are certain things that are important to people, and everybody's everybody's likes and interests and stuff like that is different from everybody else's. I'm not. I need to get a reference. I'm just kind of drawing this thing, but this is basically the ball and chain in the Super Mario games. Here we go. Okay, so I got a good reference. Um, but anyways, yeah, everybody has different things that they want to do in life and different um, goals and stuff like that, and there's certainly nothing wrong with that. But I think that if you become too consumed with that, you could miss out on a lot, right? So like going back to Ferris Bueller's Day Off, it's like if you don't stop and smell the roses, you might miss something. And it's true, man. It's so true. And I know that it's a stupid 80s, cliche movie, but it is really true. And that's one of my biggest fears. I don't want to be in a place where I'm gonna miss out something, because I'm trying to do something else, right? So art is very important to me. I spend a lot of time doing artwork and doing 3D prints and all kinds of stuff like that. And it was really funny because today I was working on my 3D printer, and it gives you stats, right? Put that out of the way. It gives you stats like how much PLA you've used and how much time the printer has been running. And it's crazy because I've already gone through 3 spools of PLA plastic, right? Just creating stuff for people, um, custom props and pieces and stuff like that, and art related pieces, and also pieces that I need on a day-to-day basis, right? So if I need a little knob or I need a coat hanger or something, those things are getting 3D printed here in my house. And so it was 3 spools of PLA plastic, and it's been running nonstop. I want to say since close to a year now. I guess, yeah, it's been close to a year now that my 3D printer has been printing nonstop. It's like really crazy. But yeah, that's how busy things can get. That's how crazy things can get. And so you gotta kind of keep track of that sort of stuff. And especially like I said, with cooling down periods, learn to cool down, man. Learn to take it easy. Like for me, I have a daily commute, and I have a daily commute, and it's about 15 miles both ways. And I get stuck in traffic on the turnpike. It's like really horrendous, and we get stuck, man. We get stuck in traffic, but there's not much you can do outside of that. So that's usually when I like to listen to either a podcast or I have some kind of relaxing music in the background. And it's very it's very much like that commercial where they have the candles in the back of the car and everybody fell asleep. It's very much like that, but without the falling asleep part. But I do enjoy ambient music, I guess, or like there's a that's the cool thing too. Like there's so much on especially on YouTube. You have like 8 hours of study music, or 10 hours of relaxing rain music, or this and that, and it sounds really stupid and really cliche. You're gonna zen out and like all this crap, but for me, like all of my greatest ideas come from that drive. I have my phone set up to where I could be hands free and all this stuff, and I'm just driving. I'm driving, and I'm kind of listening to the music, and I'm paying attention to the traffic and just doing my thing, right? And yeah, you start thinking, right? You start thinking about stuff, and you're like, man, maybe I should like reorganize the closet, or maybe I should do this and do that. And for me, I'm an artist, so I work in this little area here that I converted. I've talked about it before. It's a closet in my bedroom that I converted into an office. I needed a small work area to do all of my art projects and commissions and everything. So I have it set up super neat, right? I got my 3D printer, I got my laptop, my cameras, this and that, whatever, blah blah blah. And I spend a lot of time here. But it works. It's my little happy place, I guess. But last week we talked about upgrades, and upgrades are vital to survival, right? They're important to surviving, and yeah, that's true for me. I have to make upgrades and modifications and changes and stuff like that, and it helps me out. So driving home, I thought, well, okay, how can I improve my workspace? How can I make it a little bit better? Or, does it need it? Does it need an upgrade? And for me, it came out to be that it did. I do need certain things to happen here, which I'm currently working on. I got some parts coming in for my 3D printer because it has an acrylic frame. This is a 3D printer that I built myself. It's an Anit A8. I built it myself, and it has an acrylic frame. And so now I want to upgrade it to a metal frame. It's a lot more sturdy. It helps with the printing quality, and it also improves the performance of the 3D printer. So that's an upgrade. It's a needed upgrade because I print stuff all the time. So it's like I have a business in 3D printing. It's like that has to stay up and running. And then the office is the same thing. Like, okay, have I maximized my space properly? Can I do things a little bit better? Can I improve this? Can I improve that? And a lot of it is yes. One of the things is this camera right here. So that's one of my Logitech C920, and I put it on top of my laptop, and that's the view that you get. But I have another the C920 right here, which shows the artwork. And when I first started my YouTube channel, I only had one camera, and that was my cell phone that I would flip back and forth, and so I upgraded from that. I started with my cell phone. I added some lights to the studio. I added cameras to the studio, and then now, of course, we're making even more modifications, right? So I have a PC that I've built, but I want to have my reference monitor in front of me, and that would allow me to add my tablet, because I do have a drawing tablet and it's a portable drawing tablet. So I take it here and there and put it here and put it away and stuff like that. But it'd be cool if I just had it on my desk. So that's gonna free up that space, and again, and so on and so forth. But all of these ideas are happening when I'm driving, and when I'm driving home in my cool down period, right? So that's my cool down for the day. I'm just, work was stress or whatever the case. You had a very busy day, and now you're just cooling down. So I'm listening to this ambient music, and it's not so much like new world hippie music. It's nothing like that. It's enough to have your mind not focus on what you're listening to, because yeah, I could put on my favorite music, and it could be anything. It could be ska music, it could be rap, hip hop, or rock and roll, or whatever, because I enjoy a ton of music and I have thousands and thousands of albums I could listen to, but it's gonna keep me engaged. And so this music tends to kind of soften the mood, or make it easier for me to concentrate on different things that I want to do. So all of my great ideas come from that cool down period, and that's why I say it's so important to have that cool down period, so that you can move on and do different things, and come up with ideas for artwork. And that's one of the things I always think about, is for the Friday night live stream. you know I say, okay, well, is this interesting enough for the Friday night live stream, right? For the art community, is this something that they want to learn? Is it something that I could share? Is it worth sharing? So on and so forth. And I do listen to the art community, and they usually tell me, hey, have you ever worked with Warbler? And I'm like, well, no, I haven't, but I can get some, and we can figure it out, and I can work with it, and then tell you, all of my pitfalls and stuff before you spend the money on a material such as Warbler, and that sort of stuff. So those are all the things that I'm thinking about. And of course, here at home, making the command center. It's like where everything happens, art related, for commissions and custom pops and all kinds of stuff. That has to be. It doesn't have to be high end. It doesn't have to be high grade quality, but it has to be good enough, uh, streamlined enough to where it's gonna save me time. It's gonna help me move things along, and I don't have to really think about so much stuff. So it's like, if I wanted a ruler, whoosh, I just reach out and grab a ruler, and I do my stuff, and it put it back, and it's done. But it's all right here in this area. So so those are the kinds of things that I think about when I'm driving. So that's one of my cool down periods. And then of course, the Noodle Doodle podcast. Um, I normally upload to my website, but you could also see it on YouTube and different websites and stuff like that. Um, and that is my weekly cool down. So every Sunday, I'm like, all right, cool, let's do some artwork, let's talk about a topic and stuff like that. Um, so I thought it'd be perfect to talk about cool downs. I think so many people are so stressed and so full of depression and anxiety that they can't really cool down. They can't really cool down. And everybody has different things. Like for my wife, every Sunday we enjoy cooking, and that's her cool down, right? Her weekly cool down is just kind of hang out, pick a recipe online, and oh man, this will be cool. Let's try making eggplant parmesan. Let's try making cauliflower rice, or whatever the case may be. But it's our cool down, right? It's her. Well, I help her with her cool down for the week. She makes an amazing dinner. We make enough to where I could take that to lunch, and then it starts off the week in a cool way. You know what I mean? Hey Dan, what's up? Happy Easter, man. Yeah, man. Love you too, brother. I do have my chat open for YouTube. So if you want to chat, that's the best place to do it. But yeah, man. Happy Easter to you guys. Um, So so yeah, different kinds of cooldowns, and everybody has different cooldowns. Like I know people that exercise to cool down. I know people that read to cool down. Just hang out by the pool, or cook, or clean, or maybe maybe making props and arts and crafts and stuff like that. That's someone's cool down, or sewing, or anything. But it's so neat that everybody has these things, and it's so vital because it makes things a lot easier. It makes things a lot easier. It's like, I get it. We're all in the rat race, right? We all have to work. We all have bills. We all have all these stresses and anxiety in life. Yeah, that's right, baby. My wife just said steak Sunday. So we lovingly call today Lucky Steak Sunday. So we go to Lucky's Market that's real close to our house, and we pick a protein, we pick some vegetables, we make it a day, and that kind of lowers the stress of the week. But yeah, it's like I just see it all the time, and it sucks. It really sucks because you see good people like stressed out, and they're being rude, and it's like not everybody out in life is rude or mean or heartless. I refuse to believe that. I just refuse to believe that. I know that there's great people out there. There's good people. They just get stressed and they may not know how to cool down. And for me, when I was younger, I'll be I'll be the first one to admit it. When I was younger, I had a bit of a short fuse, and I would just get upset. I'd just get mad. This guy, get out of the way. I'm trying to do my groceries. Get out of here. That's how I was. And the older I got, that mellowed out because I just figured out I'm only stressing myself out. It's affecting my health, right? My blood pressure is going up, and it's like I'm not eating right. I'm not sleeping right. I'm not exercising. I'm not enjoying my life, right? The quality of life is not there. So now that I'm older, I kind of realize that, and I'm like, you know what? It ain't worth it, man. Hey, go ahead, dude. You gotta be somewhere that I don't, and that sort of stuff. So I think, just like anything, part of the problem is admitting that you have one, right? So that was my problem. I didn't know how to cool down. I was just constantly worried about art and making money and providing for my family and doing all these shows and this and that, whatever, and I was really not enjoying it. I was really not enjoying it. And it's like, okay, another MegaCon, another this, another that. Here comes this show, here comes that show. Oh, I got to get ready for this. Here's another commission, blah, 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 blah. And it just like, man, it stressed me the hell out. It stressed me out. I'm like, no, I don't want to, I don't want to do this. So I too had to learn how to cool down, right? I had to cool down. I had to figure it all out. So, like I said, for me, it's music, it's art, it's all of it. And since I started doing the Friday night live stream, even that has become therapeutic to a certain extent because the art community is there, right? My art family, it's like they tune in every single week and hang out and talk in the chat, and we have fun and we laugh and joke, and it's such a great time. And I always look forward to doing the Friday night live stream the same way I look forward to doing this podcast, Noodle Doodle. Um, it's like it's so amazing because I learned to do that. I learned, perhaps maybe I'm part of someone's cool down. Maybe this podcast helps someone like, all right, cool, we're relaxing with Laz. And that's awesome, and I hope that's the case. And if it is, yeah, definitely let me know because that would give me such an amazing feeling to know that I'm part of that process. And so, yeah, I get it. It's like everybody's stressed, everybody's speeding around town, and going here and going there and get out of my way and blah blah blah. And in other podcasts, other Noodle Doodles, I talked about the stress and anxiety of shopping, right, and how people can be um, so rude in shopping centers and stuff like that. And again, like I mentioned, I really don't think they're meaning to be that way. They're just not slowing down enough to think that they are being that way, that they are causing stress for other people, or they're stressed by whatever it is that's going on. It's like it's not that bad. So if you're going through that sort of stuff, if you're stressed out and you're having problems with cooling down, you're not a bad person, dude. You're not a bad person. There's nothing wrong with you. Uh, it's just you gotta learn how to just chill, man. And I think that's important. I think that's a good thing. I had to make an adjustment to the mouth. I didn't like the way that was looking there, so sorry. I'm curious to know what everybody's cooldowns are. So yeah, if you let me know, hey, I do this and do that to chill out, that'd be cool. And you the better off or the better you are at that, the better off you are. You know, because I have been I've been in theme parks. Walking around in theme parks, like you would think awesome. They have rides, they have this, they have that, and then everybody's just like miserable. It's hot. I'm in a line. The food sucks. It's so expensive. Blah blah. But it's like, yeah, man, you made the choice to come here, right? So you might as well make the best of it. Yeah, it's gonna be expensive. It's a theme park. Yes, it's gonna be hot. It's Florida. Yes, there's a lot of lines because a lot of people want to be here. You're not gonna, that's a battle you're not gonna win. So, and it happens in most places. Like I've seen it at SeaWorld. I've seen it, at Universal. I've seen it at Disney, and just it's crazy, right? So people are upset. They're mad, and I get it. I understand it. People spend a lot of money in theme parks, and they also spend a lot of time working extra hours and saving and planning these trips. And I get it. I totally get it because I've been there too. I've done it too, and I've gotten stressed at theme parks. So I totally understand it. But at the same time, okay, how do you deal with it? How do you cool down from that? That's the key. And that's what I mean. The better you are at identifying that and just immediately chilling out, then the better off you're gonna be. You're gonna have a better experience overall. And whatever that is. Some people use life lubrication. We talked about. I was joking with my wife this morning. It's like, do you need life lubrication? But yeah, it could be a wine or a beer or a cider or whatever. If that's your thing, cool, that's your thing. It's not, certainly not a bad thing. Maybe it's ice cream. I don't know. Maybe your life lubrication is ice cream. For me, I like sweets and stuff like that. Obviously, I do have to be careful with how many sweets I consume. I'm on a diet, and I'm working out and stuff like that. It's a process. It's not like it's uh, it's a work in progress, just like anything, just like everything in life. We always want to improve. We always want to do better. Um, but yeah, it's like I guess what I'm trying to say is that life's stresses shouldn't be stresses that are gonna affect your health or affect your life, affect your relationship with your family, with your friends, with your coworkers. It's not, it's not all that crazy. It's not enough to it's not enough to cause, a lot of problems for you if you know how to just calm down and just chill out, you know. And that got me thinking, especially if you're a young artist, or you're learning the ropes, or you're stressed about shows, and you're stressed about school and this and that, whatever, and oh my god, I gotta finish this project, and I gotta do this and I gotta do that, and so on and so forth. um, yeah, that can be very, very stressful, and you could easily lose sight of what's important, and that's what you have to really think about. So um, yeah, driving driving home, I thought about this particular this particular podcast just this week. I was like, maybe I should talk about this sort of stuff, see if it's helpful for anybody, because it's certainly helpful for me. And yeah, we all need it. We all need the help, because that's the last thing that you want to have in your life, is to have stress be a ball and chain to you. So even this little guy, when no one's close to him, he cools down. So that's a very important lesson for all of us to learn, and I hope that we learn it well and we carry on. So that's it. That's this week's episode of Noodle Doodle. I thank you so very much for listening or watching in all the different places that I'm broadcasting now. If this is your thing, make sure to subscribe or like or join or whatever it is, uh, whether it be Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and we can, continue doing this sort of stuff next week. So next week there'll be a different prompt. There will be a different topic, usually art related, um, and we can talk about that sort of stuff. So I hope you guys are enjoying your Sunday. Continue to have a wonderful weekend and get ready for the week. Get powered up, however that is. For us, it's Lucky Steak Sunday. And I'm kind of feeling like, I don't know, maybe some steak and shrimp with some asparagus. I don't know, just putting it out there. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But of course, I want to extend all my love and appreciation to all of you. Like I said, I hope you continue to have a wonderful Sunday, and we'll see you next week, same time, 10 a.m. for another episode of Noodle Doodle. I've been your host, Lazaro Gomez. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.